Hello and welcome back to the video series dedicated show on Paramount Plus that is back after an 8-month off-season / hiatus. That's right, we're talking about The Challenge Season 42 Cutthroat. I can't believe that The Challenge is officially back, and we don't have just one, but we have 2 episodes that I'm going to be doing a review and recap on, so there is no time to waste. Let's just jump right into it, how this season starts, and that's with the competitors running through the streets of Thailand, looking for TJ, looking to cross a finish line where the 8 contestants that finish first will be in the running to get some power, to where those 8 will then compete to get the top 3 who will become the team captains of the 3 teams. It's also at this very moment in the game that we get a little bit more information about the format. The teams are going to be permanent throughout the entire season, so there is no swapping teams, there is no changing teams. Also, we learned that there could be mutinies that can be conducted, which I just know that there is mutinies that could happen. I don't know what they entail just yet. Also, mercenaries can banish people, and of course, the biggest twist of them all that they mentioned in the actual reveal was that the team captains in the final would be able to make the decision on whether they want to split the money or take it all for themselves. How do they want to split the money? So with all of that information now at our disposal, it is time to see who are the top 8 players who will be moving on to be the first 3 team captains. Sydney getting first, Izzy getting second, in 3rd place was Josh, 4th place was Chris, 5th place was Will, 6th place was Justin, 7th place was Leo, and 8th place is Anna Lee. Everybody goes to the actual challenge house. There are 8 boxes with keys hidden through the entire house. Once you find one, you bring it back to your puzzle station, unlock your puzzle, do the 3D cube puzzle, and the top 3 players to finish their puzzle will win into the captain positions. To be honest, I really enjoyed this first introductory challenge. I love that it was done in stages. I like that they used the location and the streets of Thailand to give this like a fun and kind of movie feel. And then you have like this challenge competition that seems small but is very unique in something that they've never really done before. And I really enjoyed this challenge. The main equalizer is the puzzle, and Anna Lee was able to complete her puzzle the quickest. She wins first place. Rookie getting first place. I thought that she did a fantastic job in this challenge. Chris gets second and Justin gets third. Once we know who the 3 team captains will be, TJ leaves the house, everybody is free to mingle, have a good time. Now normally the first night in the challenge house, Johnny Bananas has this speech to Chris in the challenge season. He used it to welcome Nelson back into the challenge, an opportunity that he and Corey both state in this episode that they thought would never happen again. Nelson a few years back got into a near fatal car accident where they had to amputate his leg. He has been training very diligently. It's very powerful to see Nelson back on the challenge, ready to compete. Now going from something wholesome to something snaky, we hear a lot of people have some big time opinions about Cedric and the way he played last season. Cedric is coming in with people saying that he is snaky. We have Anna Lee Wilson, who was not on last season, but probably has heard some stories, as well as it sounds like she has watched previous seasons, and she is like, I don't want Cedric on my team. We hear from Sydney saying that we can never trust Cedric. Will, we know, has a problem with Cedric because he didn't give Will a heads up that Jeremy was going to call him out in a stake a claim game. And Justin also says that he is bitter because Cedric won against him in an elimination, kept him from making the final. So Cedric has all eyes on him. He is coming in with a big target on his back. And now with all that context out of the way, we get to the team selection process where we know that Anna Lee is going to be the team captain of the blue team, Chris will be team captain of the gray team, and Justin the orange team. Right before everybody will be able to pick their teams, this is where TJ throws a wrench into everyone's plan, saying that you won't be picking your own team, you will be picking each other's team. So everybody will be bouncing around getting to pick 4 people for each team. So Anna Lee will pick 4 people for Chris's team as well as Justin's team throughout the snake draft. Chris, Anna Lee, and Justin, and then so on and so forth. This was a twist I don't think anybody could see coming, and I feel like this went off the rails rather quickly, especially when it came to Anna Lee and Chris, because right at the very beginning, Chris was like, Who do you want? Annalie is like, I want Sydney. And Chris tries to make a deal with her saying, okay, well, if you give me Tori, I'll ensure that you get Sydney next time. Annalie is up first to give Chris his first player, and instead of Tori, she gives him Adrian. This is where Chris is like, okay, I like Adrian. She did really well last season, but also Adrian isn't Tori. You're trying to sink my team. So this quickly turned from let's all get each other by giving each other the worst players that we can, where Justin in the second round gives Sydney to Chris, to where Chris is like, oh, he gave me a really good player. I'm going to start giving Justin really good players, thus hurting Annalie's team. Annalie then is using picks to give Justin players that she doesn't want Chris to have. So it leads to these teams of Chris having Adrian, Sydney, Nerese, Corey, Cassidy, Keanu, and Leo. Justin having what looks to be a super team with Deb, Will, Bananas, Michelle, Tori, Izzy, and CT. CT was left over, which is wild in my opinion, hearing that CT and Johnny Bananas is on the same team alongside Tori and Michelle. And after hearing those two teams, we go over to Annalie's blue team, which has Cedric, Riley, Letty, and Josh. You also have Brad, Nelson, and Cara Maria. Annalie's blue team is kind of a mishmash of players that aren't bad, but also are a lot of question marks. Now, once the teams were locked in, that's when TJ turned to the captains of each team and asked for them to name a co-captain. Annalie picked Nelson, Chris picked Sydney, and Justin picked Michelle. So heading into the first daily challenge, you have two people, one captain and one co-captain for each team. Speaking of which, we go to the first daily challenge of the season called Right This Sway. Really A+ with the naming of that daily challenge, by the way. In this first daily challenge, the teams are going to have to transfer as many players in the shortest amount of time from one side to the other. The team that can transfer the most players the quickest will win first place and safety. I think this is a pretty simple challenge, but I think it's a good first challenge. Not necessarily having to do anything with teamwork. This is strictly based off of your own solo independent performance, as well as some really creative wipeouts. Now, there are some rules on how you can cross this bridge. If you completely fall off into the water, you're out. If you fall down and start crawling on your knees, specifically on your knees, you're out. The other teams will be on the side holding ropes that are attached to the bridge, trying to move it as aggressively as possible to get your team to fall off. I would say that this bridge is a little bit more flimsy than I thought it was going to be, and we had some incredible wipeouts, but I felt like at a certain point it was just way too hard for players to actually complete it. Like for instance, the orange and blue team, they each got 2 players across, and they were the 2 players that could get from the starting point to the end point within the 10-second grace period that TJ allowed for the team that was running to get a bit of a head start before just having the other team just like whipping this bridge back and forth. They were unable to get anybody else across. Now, this could be a skill issue because the gray team, who was up first, was able to get 4 people across. They did a fantastic job and they won this pretty easily. Now, with blue and orange getting the same amount of players across the finish line, it came down to time, where the orange team was quicker than the blue team. So blue team gets 3rd place, orange gets 2nd, and gray team gets 1st. Now, how this will all work with the deliberations and who gets sent into the elimination. The gray team has total power and total safety. The captain, Chris, and his co-captain, Sydney, are completely safe and will be the 2 people to have the sole decision on the 2 people going into the elimination. Now, blue, who got 3rd place, has no say in anything. They're basically just sitting ducks, and everybody is up for grabs to be sent into the next elimination by Sydney and Chris. On the other hand, for 2nd place, which in this case is orange, they will get to nominate 2 players from their team. Now, because they got 2nd place, the captain, Justin, and co-captain, Michelle, are safe, but they will still have to nominate 1 person from their team. Then the other 6 players would have to vote and nominate another person on their team, to where then at the elimination, Chris and Sydney will then choose between the two players in orange that are nominated and anybody that they want on the blue team. So we go back to the challenge house, and that's where we see Chris and Sydney talking to Michelle, being like, we'll give you the courtesy that because you got second place, we will send in whoever you want on your team into the elimination. And Michelle said that Justin is our captain and he is completely safe, which then leaves us to nominate 2 out of the 3 remaining guys, which is Will, CT, and Bananas. Justin and Sydney have this alliance with Will and do not want to send him in. Michelle and Justin don't want to get their hands dirty in any way. So they're gonna nominate Will. He is completely off the table to be sent into elimination, and they're gonna allow their team to vote in either one of the two, Johnny or CT. If only it was that easy. Because when we get to the actual deliberation, Michelle and Justin do what they said they were gonna do. Nominate Will. They walk out, leave the 6 of them to do their thing, and this is when the orange team doesn't want to get their hands dirty. They want to do a stalemate. Let's do 3-3, and let's just go to a tiebreaker. Maybe TJ will take out a coin like last season, and it'll just be a 50-50 between either you or me. Everybody seems to be on board initially, but then it starts to sink in for CT. I don't like this plan. I don't like leaving it up to a coin flip. I also think that CT just remembered, oh wait, there are captains. If we go to a 3-3 tie, they might bring out the captains again. And because Justin is the quote-unquote main captain, and Michelle is just the co-captain, because Justin is the main captain, he might have to make the ultimate decision on who to send in between him or Bananas. And I think CT is worried that Justin is going to send him over Bananas. So I think this is where CT said, I'm not good with a coin flip. This turns into a big heated argument between CT and Bananas, but it stays a 3-3 tie. TJ then calls Michelle and Justin back out, and then TJ says, well, it's a men's day, so Michelle, you have to break the tie on who to send in between Bananas or CT. And this is where Michelle's like, this is the exact opposite I wanted to have happened. This now just falls into my lap. I'm gonna make somebody mad, and she decides to make Bananas mad by sending him into the elimination. Bananas is understandably mad, but there's nothing he can do. He's going to be sent into the first elimination of the season. Speaking of which, we go down to the arena where there's a ton of light poles, some that are orange, some that are blue. Chris and Sydney pick Bananas, no surprise, and Cedric, no surprise, for this week's elimination called Burnout. This is a light-based elimination where the competitors are going to be running around the entire arena trying to turn the lights to their team's color. At the end of 5 minutes, whoever has the most colors represented in the arena will win. Or, if a competitor can turn all the lights to their team color before the 5 minutes are up, they are just instantly declared the winner. I was ready and prepared for a very heated, very close elimination. However, I got neither of those things because this burnout turned into a blowout as Cedric was running around making too many mistakes. There was a point where it looked like he was just using one hand, either just his left when he was going around in a circle or just his right. There was points where he was kind of frantically trying to press as many buttons and he was missing the buttons. Those mistakes started to pile up, and before you know it, all of the lights were orange and Johnny Bananas was declared the winner. It's tough seeing Cedric go out this early. I really like him as a competitor. I feel like he came in with too much heat. Cedric is the first eliminated contestant in the challenge season 42. I hope to see him back on the challenge very, very soon. Bananas stays. He is stuck on his orange team, and TJ throws another twist into the mix, saying that the now captains and co-captains have to name replacements, and everybody will get a chance of being a captain and co-captain throughout the entire season, with some people possibly being twice or 3 times possibly. The new captains are Keanu and Adrian, Cara and Josh, CT and Tori, and they will be the captains heading into episode 2. In episode 2, we get a little bit of like some flirting and maybe some early romance in the challenge house. We hear that Will and Deb are getting very, very close with one another. So is Josh and Adrian. Letty is getting too much advice from Johnny Bananas as everybody is sickened when she starts to exfoliate her legs and feet in the pool. And people are asking, where'd you get this idea? And to where she's like, Johnny Bananas told me about this idea. If it has anything to do with legs or feet? Johnny was the one that would say it. I don't even know why you asked. This seemingly gets Johnny Bananas hot and bothered to where at the end of the episode, we see Bananas and Letty getting very close with one another. But now let's get to this week's daily challenge or nightly challenge where everybody is on top of a 50-story tower. This game will be played in 6 heats. Each team will go twice, where in each round, 3 players from each team will be standing on a trapdoor, listening to answers to yes or no questions to a mystery contestant from their team inside the mystery box. The most correct answers after 2 heats each will win safety and win into power. The team that does the worst will get 3rd place and then be subject to whatever decision the winning team makes. From all the promos and all the ads, I thought this was going to be the trivia challenge happening later on in the season, and I thought it was just all right. I kind of wish we just had trivia, to be honest, but I like that this is a team-based game. They should be bonding. They should be getting to know each other since these teams are permanent. Great Team is off to a great start where Corey, Cassidy, and Adrian all guess correctly, grabbing the max amount of points in a heat, which is 3 points. Unfortunately, in Heat 6, the Great Team was only able to get 1 guess correctly of Nerys, and that was Sydney, so their total points was 4 out of 6 correct, which is still really solid. We move on to the Blue Team, which was a huge mess. Right off the bat, Cara Maria is panicking being up this high. There is a rule that you cannot make any noise. You can't talk, you can't cough, you can't do anything because then you can give off the answer indirectly to your other teammates either around you or in the mystery box of who you are. Cara Maria is panicking and having like a panic attack so badly that she is like shivering. Josh knows that Cara Maria is freaking out right away, knows that it's Cara Maria standing right next to him. The Blue Team was disqualified from that heat. And if that wasn't terrible enough, the next time that they're up, Annalie apparently is sick, so she can't hold her coughs back. She sniffles one too many times, and TJ says, that's it. The Blue Team is out of here. This leads to a Blue Team meeting where everybody is just yelling at each other. You have Nelson and Brad going after one another, being frustrated about them losing and not even having a chance to go. Cara Maria confesses to breathing loudly, so possibly maybe it was her that got her heat disqualified. But the second heat that they had to do was only between Annalie, Riley, and Nelson in the mystery box. And even though Annalie coughed and sniffled, she doesn't say that once everybody was like, who was it? Who did it? It leaves a huge question mark, and the Blue Team is just an absolute chaotic mess. Now we go to the Orange Team, who has a ton of vets on their side, and the vets love to play smarter, not harder. So they decide we're gonna bypass the first 2 questions. Instead, we're gonna come up with a code. No matter what the questions are, you're gonna answer if you're a man or a woman by either pressing green for girl, red for guy, and then no matter what the second question is, you're gonna press either green if you're a vet, red if you're a rookie. Even though CT is good at math, he followed the code and pressed red, signifying that he is a guy, and then green, that he is a vet, to where all 3 of his team members got the correct answer. So they got 3 out of the possible best 3 points. And then the next round they did, Deb was in the mystery box where she pressed green because she's a girl and red because she's a rookie. And then she answered some other questions and they were able to guess that it was Deb inside the mystery box. It seems like the Orange Team went 6 for 6. Easy win. However, when TJ gets to the results, he congratulates the Gray Team for winning the game and winning their second daily challenge in a row. People are confused. Well, TJ tells everyone that there was a specific rule that you had to answer the questions correctly. And the main one that they hold on and was like, definitively you lied, is when CT said that he was bad at math. When it boils down to it, this comes down to you talked about coming up with a code on camera. We found out about it and we were going to hold you to a new standard. The challenge is saying we're not going to let you cheat and play around the rules anymore. I mean, granted, it took you like 42 seasons to come up that we're not going to let you play out of bounds and whatnot. Hey, if this new era on Paramount Plus, they want to put a line in the sand saying we're not going to tolerate tomfoolery, shenanigans, or anything of the such that we did on our previous seasons, I'm all for it. They actually get 0 and they disqualify just like the blue team. So to get a second place and a third place, Tori and Kara have to do a sudden death trivia challenge to name the 4 main characters of South Park. Available to watch on Paramount Plus. Tori's up first. She got 3 out of the 4, and then Kara was able to name all 4 correctly. So the blue team gets second place, orange gets last place. And I want to say right now, I have a theory that Tori got this wrong on purpose. If we saw what happened last episode in the deliberation between the orange team getting second place, why, as a captain, would Tori want to get her hands dirty? I think Tori was like, I'm good. I'm not going to be sent in. I don't think Michelle is going to be sent in. Why even get second place when it doesn't even matter? And the only thing that I would do is get dirt on my hands. So I personally have a theory that Tori sank the tiebreaker on purpose to get third place, be completely absolved of making a decision. Keanu and Adrian make the final decision, and it wasn't in Tori's hands. She just got a trivia question wrong. We get a little bit of tension between Keanu and Adrian, where Keanu, back at the house, is trying to make his mastermind plan work of getting Letty and Izzy into the elimination together. He also wants to keep Annalie completely safe, as well as Riley completely safe. He's putting all of these plans together, moving all these chess pieces without talking to his teammate or co-captain, Adrian, who is like, Izzy is off the table. She is my best friend here. I will never nominate or send her into the elimination. Here's my thing with Keanu. He is coming in, I think, thinking he knows more than he actually does. He's also putting a ton of stock into that introductory challenge. Because in episode 1, he was like, I want to put Will and Josh in against each other because they came into the top 8. And why not get one of those top 8 eliminated from the game? Granted, they did a great job running through the streets of Thailand. But that introductory challenge isn't like the end-all be-all of what makes a good player. Mind you, Keanu was telling that plan to a 5-time challenge champion of CT, and CT is just standing there like, yes, take out Will and Josh. And now we come to this episode where Keanu is like, Letty and Izzy need to go in. Granted, I think both of them are really strong contestants, but if everybody on Orange is up for grabs and being up to be sent in, why are the veteran presence of Tori and Michelle completely off the table right off the bat? Oh, it's because they didn't perform and get into the top 8 players of the introductory challenge that bears no weight at all for the rest of the game. Speaking of squabbles, we get a blue team meeting before the blue team deliberation where the blue team is just trying to figure out what's going wrong here. Annalie confesses, hey, I coughed, I sniffled a little bit, maybe that's what got us to be disqualified. And Letty is like, you didn't come up with that information when we were asking. So tensions are high because of that. Then we move on to Cara Maria getting her heat disqualified. And people are questioning, did you do it on purpose? Did you want us to be sent into an elimination this early? And Cara's like, no, that seems stupid. I was genuinely scared and having like panic attacks. And Josh was like, that's ridiculous. You shouldn't be scared. I'm sure she has been afraid forever of heist challenges, but she's always done them. And here she is on season 42, more fearful than ever. And it got the best of her. And Josh is like, I've been waiting 10 years and you're just throwing away my own chances of getting deeper into this game. It's like, all right, dude, let's not make it all about you. This blue team, again, is a mess. We get to the deliberation, which was actually a lot calmer than I thought it would be. You have Josh and Cara Maria voting in Riley. Then you have the vote of 3-2 to vote in Annalie. We go down to the arena where we have Riley being voted in to face off against Deb Chubb in Line 'em Up. This is like a phone app game come to life, where there's 4 different colored balls. The first player that can sort all of the balls into the correct rows will win. I thought that this was a unique challenge. I thought this was a fun puzzle. I felt like it went on a bit too long. There wasn't too much action going on with it. I thought the sabotage ball was a pretty big like dud. People acted like when TJ said, oh, you got a sabotage ball, that it was gonna be this like huge barrier and everything. No, the blue team, again, was a mess. I felt like this was too many cooks in the kitchen for them, and they were trying to direct Riley because the blue team and the orange team from the stands had a better vantage point on where everything could go and how they could sort everything, whereas Deb and Riley were like really close to the action and really close to the structure. It could have been harder to see, so they were getting help from their teams. The blue team thought Riley was so far out ahead that there was no way she could lose. Then you have too many cooks in the kitchen trying to tell her, no, go here, do this, put this ball here, put this thing. And she got turned around, flipped upside down, and at one point completely got messed up. And it set her back quite a bit, where Deb, who was slowing down and running out of gas, was able to stay on a steady pace, listen to her 3 team members of Tori, Michelle, and Izzy to get the correct lineups and to make the correct moves that ultimately helped and propelled her to get the win. So Deb wins, the orange team stays completely intact, where Riley is eliminated and the blue team loses their second player in a row. 2 Big Brother players back to back gone off the blue team. They are down to 6. Gray has 8, orange has 8, and now we move on to the new captains, where for the gray team you have Corey and Nerys, for the blue team you have Brad and Letty, and orange team you have Bananas and Deb. And we're going to be done for this week heading into episode 3. So far, I'm liking this season. So far, I really like the rookies of Deb, Annalie, Letty, and I also kind of like Riley as well. We didn't get too much time with her, but her final words, as well as how much she took this game seriously, I could very much tell that she took this opportunity and put her whole heart into it. She wanted to compete, she wanted to play, she wanted to stay longer, and I kind of, wish we maybe could see her in the future. You never know what's going to happen. It's tough to see Cedric go out this early. I think there's a lot of seeds being planted in these first 2 episodes, and I am looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in future episodes. I am very happy that the orange team isn't running away with the competition. I was worried that this was just going to be a demolished, lopsided, one-sided, orange was just going to crush every single daily challenge, but they got second and third. And the gray team seems to be a really strong team. For now, it seems like in the What's to Come trailer at the end of episode 1, it feels like there could be some tension and some animosity bubbling up to the surface for the gray team and all the teams in general, I would say. We're going to have to wait and see how this is all going to play out, but so far, the first 2 episodes I thought were really solid, very promising, and I think that this season has so much potential to be a really, really fun season. But I've been talking for so much, and I want to turn things over to you. What'd you think about the first 2 episodes of The Challenge 42? Let me know down in the comment section below. What'd you think about the introductory challenge and how we got the team captains? Who in these first 2 episodes really stood out to you? Who are you excited to see more of? Who are you hoping to see less of? And were you sad to see either Cedric and or Riley leave in the first 2 episodes? Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. I want to hear what you have to say. But now I want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really, really soon with more Challenge 42 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.